Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So, yeah, still working on the tail of the peacock. That's going to take a while. Yeah. And as you can see, not stitching diagonally, following the colors as per usual. I got quite a bit done since last time. Yeah. Saying that I think 55% is in sight for the end of this month. We will see. Alrighty. Oh, I had nothing but technical problems this morning, so hopefully the rest of it will go just fine. Yeah, it was a good thing I checked because I thought I started my camera and then turned out I hadn't. And then I double checked and it turned out I'd started it in slow-mo mode, which yeah, you definitely don't want. But I think I've got it sorted now, so fingers briefly crossed, because of course I can't stitch that way. We will see. Yeah, so I moved my frame over again, I think, since last time. Yeah, the big eye motif was right there. And it kind of extends out a bit this way, and another feather kind of goes out, and so that's what I'm going to be following today. I did a small eye motif here, as you can see, and now I'm just kind of working what's below it. And not quite as many parked threads as last time. Last time was a doozy. Oh my. There. End of that thread was trying to tie itself into a knot. So yeah, we finally had a snow that looks like it's gonna stick for a while. But it kind of sucks because it's kind of almost like it was freezing rain right on the verge of that. So yeah, it's super icy out there. So I'm dreading when I have to drive places. I can drive in the snow, it's fine. But yeah, my worry is there's other people who like to follow closely as if the roads are bare, which they aren't. That's how I've been rear-ended. I had to stop for a pedestrian at a crosswalk, and the guy behind me was too close and couldn't stop in time and hit me. Yeah, I didn't even have to pay my insurance deductible since it was entirely not my fault. I was legally stopped for a pedestrian at a crosswalk, yeah. But yeah, it's frustrating. It doesn't matter how fast you're going. There's always somebody out there who thinks you're not going fast enough. Yeah. But yeah, well, the first few years after I had my license, I wouldn't drive on the snow at all. Yeah, I was that chicken, but yeah, after the first couple of years, I was like, I'm sick of not being able to just go to the grocery store by myself. So I guess I will just learn. So I did. Yeah. And I remember my parents came to visit, and my mom said, "Oh, I can't believe you drive on the ice," because she won't. And I said, well, you know, when we have it 6 months of the year, you know, you have to decide, am I willing to be entirely dependent on someone else for transportation for half the year, or do we just, you know, deal with it? And so I chose to just deal with it. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, so it will be my son's first winter driving on the snow with the manual transmission. Yeah, he has driven in snow before. He drove my vehicle when it got too cold because the old truck he was driving was a diesel, so yeah, you couldn't drive when it got super cold, which it does out here. It only works to like minus 15 Celsius. And yeah, like regularly got temperatures way below that. So yeah, that's why they don't use salt on our roads. It's only good up to a certain, or down to a certain temperature, I guess I should say. And then after that, yeah, it doesn't work, because it works by lowering the freezing point. But yeah, if everything's even colder than that, then it won't do any good. Yeah, I think some people don't get that. They think salt is just like this magic thing that will always melt ice. It's like, well, in certain conditions, if you're at minus, 45, yeah, that won't happen. It's too cold. Because, yeah, if salt automatically melted all ice, we would never have icebergs, right? Yeah. When it gets to a certain temperature, it's cold enough, it won't melt. Oh, boy. Alrighty, smooth that out. The strand was trying to knot up, but we won't let it. Yeah, we are definitely in the dark days of winter. I have to use my crafting lamp basically all day. I bought it as just for a supplement when there isn't enough natural light, but yeah, in the winter it's just, yeah, I use it all the time I'm stitching. Actually, it was my Christmas present to myself, either last year or the year before, I can't remember, but yeah. Because I was noticing on some of my videos too that it wasn't focusing, and it turned out to be a lack of enough lighting. It can't. Oops, darn. I had a feeling I had pulled threads out of that needle, but I was hoping I had not. Yeah, we'll try not to shred any thread today. Yeah, I had that last time. I was trying to pull up a thread that I had missed the proper spot in the fabric, and I accidentally ended up splitting it and actually tearing the thread in half. That doesn't happen often, but yeah, that wasn't fun. Yeah, so I think that, yeah, so there was this eye, and I think this is part of the darker edges of the feather, and then I think another sort of scale will start forming. But we will see how far we get. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to finish the peacock's tail this month. I might finish this pass by the end of the year. We will see. Because, yeah, like I said, I started it September. It's been taking about 4 months and a bit more to do a pass across. So we'll see. Yeah. But, yeah, if I can remain consistent with how I've been stitching lately, I may be able to have this whole piece completed by the end of next year, which would be pretty cool. But I'm estimating that sometime in 2026 is more likely. But we will see, yeah. Because after this pass, I think I have 4 more. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I have 4 more, and the very last one is, I believe, 50 rows rather than 60. So that will make it a little shorter. Okay. I'm going to unthread that for now because it is going to be a while until I get to it. So I might as well. So yeah, working some around this eye motif here and then some of this down here. Sort of make cutoffs where I feel like it. As always, trying to not close things in. Yeah, I already have a spot picked on my wall for where I'm going to hang this one. Yeah, it's a kind of bare space, so I have another one that's picked out for another piece, but it has pictures there. And then my husband said, when I've completed it and mounted it and all that, then we'll move those pictures to the hallway probably. Although they're all on our electronic frame too. I got that, so yeah. It cycles through them at random so that I can have eventually more wall space for my stitching. Okay, yeah, so I can see there's another sort of circular bit, yeah, sort of forming here. I'm gonna just work sort of around it and then fill it in later. So yeah, although I don't like doing the work of finishing, one of my favorite parts is to take the completed stitched piece to the fabric store to find what fabric will complement it well. Yeah, I'm not sure what color I'm going to choose for this one. I was thinking maybe like the peacock blue, but that might be a bit too eye-searingly bright. So yeah, I haven't decided. I will decide when I do it, because yeah, with my oriental triptych one, you know, had sort of its own stitched frame around the picture that was this dark brown, and so I managed to find a dark brown fabric that was the perfect complement, so that was easy. Yeah, and then the Soulful Mediterranean Tranquility navy blue seemed to fit that one. The Majora's Mask I did black, so yeah, I may do it on this, I don't know, but the Majora's Mask was a bit of a darker piece, and I felt the black really complemented it well, so we'll see. Yeah, Firefly will be on black, of course. That is a long, long ways away into the future. But at least another decade of stitching on that one, since, like I said, it's not a focus piece. If I was stitching exclusively on it, then it would probably take me like 4 more years, but yeah, I am not, so. Okay. So this is sort of the edge of the green there of a different motif that I'm not stitching yet. I will get to it later. Yeah, I stitched it first and then now stitch around it. So there's a little bit of green that sort of is blending over into the edge here. So it turns into like yellowy brown and orange. Yes, I've been watching figure skating. Looking forward to the Grand Prix final. That's when the top 6 only compete. The ones who medaled in the previous 6 competitions. Yeah. And then after that is the Worlds, which will be very exciting this year because placement in the Worlds will determine how many spots each country gets to send. The top ones get to send 3 and so on. And yeah, like basically every country gets to send 1 and then they have to qualify because only the top 24 short programs get to compete their long programs. So they said for a lot of them, it's like a competition within a competition. They know they're not going to get a medal. They're competing for the chance to compete their long program. Yeah. Although we often say you never know what can happen. Because I think it was last World Championships, there was a Korean skater who, he went from like 18th place to 3rd place, so on the podium, which was just, yeah, unbelievable. So I often say, like, anything can happen. You never know. Yeah, he was the one who'd actually did a backflip, which at the time was still an illegal move. They put it back in this season, but it had been forbidden since, I think they said 76, so even longer than I had thought. I thought it had been banned in the 80s, but no. I think they considered it too dangerous, but now enough people are doing it that, yeah, they allowed it back in. But yeah, so because he was starting the, you know, the long program in what they thought was completely out of medal contention, yeah, he threw one in because, well, I can afford to take the 1-point deduction. I'm not going to win anyway, you know. Ugh. Yeah, it's interesting to see the new batch of athletes for this upcoming Olympics. Yeah, I never watched the Summer Olympics, and the only thing I watch out of the Winter Olympics is figure skating. I would say it's the only sport I follow. Yeah. Okay. Guess I should have picked a slightly longer piece. It won't be enough for the few stitches underneath, but oh well. Yeah, so to meet the same stitch count that I did last month, I would be at 168,000 total, and I think we're going to go past that. Yeah, because I started at 159 and change, and I did 9,000 stitches last month, so I think I'm going to do better than that this month. We shall see. Yeah, so Heaven and Earth Designs is having a stitch along again for 2025. If you're curious to join, they have, I believe it's a dozen charts to choose from, and I think if you stitch the chart within the year, you get all 12 charts, and you also get to pick a chart from the website. So yeah, I'm not doing it, but I know a lot of people are. You have to be on Facebook in order to participate, because you have to join the 2025 Stitch Along group. So yeah, it's on their website if you're interested. There were some cute patterns, but none I loved enough that I'm going to, because I would have to turn that into my focus piece. Yeah, so I would have to really be completely in love with the pattern to do that, because I really want to get this one finished. But yeah, I think it's if you if you stitch 6 pages by the deadline of the chart that you chose. Oh, what is it? You get 2 charts or something? I know that you get the full of the chart that you picked. I'm pretty sure no matter what. But yeah. There's a nice variety. There's some cute ones in there. There's jellyfish, which people really like. There's one that's called Portal, I think. Yeah, which is kind of a geometric looking. It's pretty neat. There's a bunny and a cabbage leaf. There's, I believe, flamingos. I can't remember all of them, but yeah. And they have bonuses as well. Like, so if 1,000 people join the Stitch Along, there's another chart you get. If, 4,000 join the Stitch Along, there's another chart, and so on. So, yeah, some nice little incentives if you are interested. Yeah, there's some groups I'm in that do stitch count challenges and stuff just for fun. But yeah, I don't really do those because, again, I don't want to stress myself out with a goal. I'd rather just finish when I finish. So yeah, so I'm going to stick now to this bit here for the moment. I might bring that thread down a bit too, but when I get to it. Starting to get a little more confetti heavy here. Oh, no, parked it there. Oops, grabbed one thread each from 2 different colors. That will not work. Yeah, I'm not doing any blended threads. I know there's some designers who like to use them. I believe Golden Kite and Unconventional Cross Stitch do quite a lot of the blended colors. And they do have some beautiful designs, yeah. I like to use loop starts, so I haven't done any of those yet, although I have drooled over some of the beautiful patterns. I know that, pardon me, there is a way to do a kind of loop start with an uneven number of strands. I believe Needlebug has a video on it, and there's a couple of others who do as well. But yeah, I have not done it. Because yeah, if you're using blended threads, even though it's even if it is an even number of strands, obviously you can't do loop starts since they're not the way I do it anyway. Since they're different colors, you need a strand of each. So a little bit of stopping and starting here as I try to avoid closing my stitches in. Okay, need another new one. I did actually start at 0 today. Yeah, the last couple of times I made videos for y'all, I had already stitched a bit before I started filming, but today I started at 0, so it'll be easy to see exactly how many I got done during this session. Okay, yes, so I got one strand coming down from here, but I'm going to do another strand coming from the side there. So yeah, I can see that this color here kind of intersects with that sort of swirl symbol. I'm going to kind of divide it down the middle. I'll be filling in the center of it later. Yeah, for now I'm kind of working around that rounded bit, and then I will fill it in. Yeah, I think I'm finally feeling adjusted to the time change we had earlier this month. This one isn't as hard to adjust as the spring one, although I'm not a fan. Yeah. I feel like the darkness feels like it starts earlier because of the time change, even though I know it's only us who's changed. Nature didn't, but yeah. Yeah, and I find that even though I use my crafting lamp, I still rely on a lot of natural light, because when the sun goes down, I don't stitch that much because I do notice it starts to strain my eyes when I don't have the natural light. No matter how good the lamp light source might be, it's still my preferred. prefer it as a supplement to the natural light, not in place of it. Yeah. So yeah, just kind of radiating the colors out in circles. Circular, I guess. Oops. Oh, I tell you. I was trying to mark it and it counted it as a long press, which it was not. All right, so yeah, I'm going to bring this one down a bit because I want to do stitches in a row, kind of scattered through it. So all right. 100 now. Nice. Oh, right. Make sure I'm actually in the right spot, which I wasn't. Okay. So yeah, probably just gonna sort of cut this off around here. I'll fill in more of that when I go back up here and work my way down again. Yeah, this year has flown by. Be time to put my Christmas tree up again soon. Yeah, we usually do it very last weekend of November kind of thing. Which I think this year is the 30th, so that kind of works out perfectly. Okay, I think I'm gonna work in here a bit and then some more, bring it downwards. Oh, silly me, that was done. I just missed coloring it. Yeah. No problem. Actually, then I'll just do that one first. Did it again. Pierced it wrong. That's better. these to come apart. Darn. Oh, there you are. Dropped the needle and I wanted to find it before I poke myself in the behind. That would not be fun. I actually have a scar on my leg where there was a needle stuck into the mattress for some reason, and I slipped on it and it scratched me all along my leg, and yeah. I think it broke or something, and it scratched me up and it's scarred. That was from when I was a teenager, yeah. Don't ask me why there was a needle in my mattress because I have no idea. I don't remember doing that, putting it there, but yeah, somehow it ended up that way. Okay. Yeah, we're almost at 54.5%. Yeah, so I don't think I'll make my way all the way to the bottom of this pass today. We are getting there. So yeah, I'll decide as I go how far I'm going to curve it this way before cutting it off because I'll be filling it in later. So I'm probably going to cut it off about here and start striping from the bottom. That's probably what I'm going to do. But as always, I may change my mind when I get there. So I don't plan too far ahead because I often change the plan. So yeah, this got a little ragged. Now I'll square it off again. Darn. Why would you do that, hey? Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay, so I'm gonna tack this along the back so that knot won't show on the front. It's a very thin one, but I find that tends to happen more when you get near the end of a thread. It can get more twisting up on itself. And then it can tie knots, kind of like a curling ribbon, right? Yeah, so like I said, I think sort of up to there may be where I cut it off. Or I may not. I may sort of slope this here and start filling in the stripes downward rather than upward. Like I said, I make a plan, but I often change the plan. So yeah, upon further thought, that may be what I decide to do. That's all we're going to get out of that strand there. Because yeah, looking at it now, the colors kind of slope that way naturally. So take a look, that's a longer one. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do. First I'm going to do that. Oh, actually no, because, all right. So yeah, going a little out of order, but again, trying to make sure the stitches are all sort of attached. Nothing's off floating by itself. So yeah, I could decide to build up from the bottom, but you know what? Since I have a bunch of threads here that are already got needles on them, I might as well just work it from the top down then. Saves myself a little bit of rethreading. Darn. I hate when I do that. Got the loop of thread around my finger and then pulled it right out. You're not gonna cooperate till I trim you. Oh yeah, loose needle there. Pick that up. Okay, so I did that because, yeah, I'm going to bring that one upwards rather than adding another thread there. Wait a minute. What am I looking at here? Oh. Oh, I've parked something incorrectly. Yeah, just realized. All right, which one did I do? Oh, I think it's this one. I think this is the 301. Let me just bring the other color here to double check which strand is 301. Yeah, it is that one. Okay. Yes, I parked it over by one. Should have been here, so yeah, there we go. So very rarely I do that, but I can usually figure it out. I bet some of you saw me parking it wrong or wanted to warn me. That's better. Oh, why are you being like that? Oh, there we go. That's better. Okay. This one. Just double checking. Worst case scenario, if my threads got all mixed up and I couldn't tell which I'd parked where, what I would do is just unpark them, tie them off, and start again. Yeah. I have had that happen a couple of times, but most of the time I can figure out where I went wrong. But yeah, like I say, worst case scenario, if that happens, and even with, bringing the rest of the thread close to compare the colors, you can't tell because, of course, sometimes these colors are extremely similar. Yeah, that's what you can either just keep stitching and figure they're similar enough that maybe no one will notice, or what I have done, which was to just, pull the thread to the back, tie it off, start again. There's always a solution. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to tuck these threads up this way, out of my way. And I'm just going to kind of, work my way down here, fill this in, then come back up, fill that in, carry on from there. Usually I find when I've stitched with colors for long enough, I can kind of have them memorized. So I know when I pick up a color, which one it is, just by looking at it. But yeah, I'll often sort of bring the whole skein over and just double check that it matches if I'm unsure which color I'm holding. See, people say, don't you mix them up yet? Rarely though. It does happen, but not that often. Honestly, though, stitching cross country, I mixed myself up sometimes too. I remember putting in like 30 stitches and then realizing, yeah, I had grabbed the wrong color. Well, plus the one with this one where I really messed it up. I did like 10,000 stitches before discovering I should have used white, and I used white tin. Yeah, I was not happy with myself. I said the part that really annoyed me was I knew people were making that mistake, and I thought I was being so careful not to make it myself, and I still did. Yeah. So one thing I did after that was every Heaven and Earth Designs pattern I had loaded into Pattern Keeper, I went through, and if it said 1, which is for white, not 01, then I actually went Edit Legend and typed in white. So now I will not mix those up. Yeah. Yeah, 1 is white, 01 is white tin. So you won't find a DMC label that says 1 on it. It will say white. But the way Heaven and Earth designed charts, they had to pick a number, so they picked 1. And yeah, so don't do what I did. Okay, so I kind of went from both sides. So yeah, I'm going to cut it off right there. I won't do these ones yet. I'll just carry this down this way, fill all this bit in, come up and fill in some more. I say with my gridding, I never have to count higher than 5 because I can always count. If it's 6 from one, I just count 4 from the other side, kind of thing. So that's all we're going to get out of that. Okay, so I think I'm going to take a break soon. Oh, look at that. We're almost at 200. We're 20 stitches off. So maybe stitch to 200, and that will be where I take my break. Oh dear. Oh, come on. Don't be like that. You are going to be like that, aren't you? You're not going to let go, are you? Oh, nope. Oh, I hate when that happens. Rotten knot. what I hate the most about it is it means I basically have to undo all the work I did to get an end long enough that I could fasten it off, tie it off. And yeah. I mean, who likes undoing their work, right? Yeah, it just got to the point that if I pulled it any harder, I was afraid I was going to distort my fabric, which definitely do not want to happen. So yeah, at that point, time to quite literally cut my losses. So yeah, say I use loop starts 99% of the time, but in this case, since there's so many in a row, it's quite easy to do an away thread like that. Yeah, I always do this sort of when there's at least 4 stitches in a row. That makes sure there's 3 wraps in between them around that tail, and that secures it quite nicely. Without looking, after I put in the first stitch or so, I find if you pull on the needle and it doesn't pop free, then you've got it. Yeah. Again, that was one of those, the first few times I did it from the front, then I flipped my work over to double check that everything had been properly secured, and then at that point I knew what it felt like. Yeah. Same with my threading across the back from the front without looking. Yeah. Once I had done it a few times, I could tell by how much resistance was against the needle if I caught a sufficient number of stitches to keep everything secure. So yeah, making a funky shape here. And then yeah, I'm gonna build up along that edge of these other colors till I reach the bottom, and then come back up and fill in that circular gap that I left there. Okay, so I said 200, so I will stitch to just over 200. So stitch these 3 that are right in the corner there. Then I think that will be where I call it a day. Oh yeah, we went past 54.5 a while back. I wasn't really paying attention. Yeah, it's funny. I look forward to those big milestones, and then I get so absorbed in the rhythm of my stitching that I forget to check the total until I've gone past them. I did that with 50%, yeah. Almost got like a North America shape here happening, something like that. Anyway, yeah, 202 total today. So thank you so much for joining me today, and hope to see you here next time. Thanks, everyone.